So why is the first $100,000 so difficult to achieve in your saving and investing and wealth building journey? It is a beast. It is a significant milestone in any investor's career, that first $100,000. But it is also very difficult and takes time to achieve. Lots of people give up during that early process because it's so difficult. The first $100,000 is difficult, as Charlie Munger, the former vice president of Berkshire Hathaway, says. He just passed away. Rest in peace, Charlie Munger. But he said it is a very significant milestone and it's very difficult, but it becomes much easier afterward. Lots of people give up during that early time frame on their way to that first $100,000. But if you stick with it and continue, it will become much easier. Let's jump into my computer and get some financial education. The first $100,000 is the hardest, by James Orr. Charlie Munger, the former vice president of Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett's right hand man, said the first $100,000 if A rhymes with itch, starts with a B. Well, you got to do it. I don't care what you have to do. If it means walking everywhere and not eating anything that wasn't purchased with a coupon, find a way to get your hands on $100,000. After that, you can ease off the gas a little bit. So that's what he said, and this is coming from a billionaire. So what he was alluding to is kind of what this graph shows. It shows time in years on the horizontal axis and value on the y-axis. The assumption is you're saving $10,000 a year and you're earning a 7% rate of return. It takes 7.84 years to get to the first $100,000. The next $100,000 only takes 5.1 years. The next $100,000 only takes 3.78 years. The next takes 3 years. The next 2.5 years, and so on. It takes less time to make succeeding $100,000. The first $100,000 takes the longest, but after that, it gets better, and that's what Charlie Munger was alluding to. And the question can be asked, why? The answer is those two magical words: compound interest, where the interest that you've earned on money previously invested also earns interest. Your interest earns interest. See, in the bank account, you only get simple interest, meaning you have $100,000 in the bank and they're paying you 1% interest, then you get a 1% or 1% of your principal. In that case, $1,000 a year. The next year, even though you have $101,000 in the bank, they will only give you the interest based on the original principal of $100,000. There's no interest on your interest. That's why compound interest is better. So the first $100,000 is the hardest, and that's where a lot of people give up. This is where they get frustrated, and the reason is most of the value is from your contribution. You get very little help from the actual interest. Because think about it. In that first $100,000, we said it takes about 7.8 years, almost 8 years. And if you're contributing $10,000 a year, $10,000 per year, and it's taking you 7.8 years, you've already contributed $70,000 to $80,000 just from your contribution. Your portfolio is only helping you with the last $20,000 to $30,000. So most of the work is you contributing. It gets easier. So look at here. For the first $100,000, you contributed 70 years of $10,000. So you've contributed about 70,000 of the 100,000. So you contribute about 70% of the value. The first $200,000, you contributed over a 12-year period, $10,000 every year, total of $120,000 of the $200,000 total. That you're contributing 60%. So your portfolio is helping with the other 40%. See, you contribute 70% of the first 100,000, but only 60% of the second 100,000, only 53% of the next. You see, less and less, right? As time goes on, you're putting in less when your portfolio value gets to be a certain size, right? Now look on your way to the first million, it's gonna be the same. It's gonna be the same thing. It's gonna be the same thing. So for on the way to the first million, the assumption is gonna take you about maybe 30 years or so. hmm The first $100,000 takes about a quarter of the time. The other $900,000 out of the million takes you the other 74.5%. But you see that? 25% or a quarter of the time is coming from the first $100,000. Isn't that amazing? That's why it becomes so much easier to make money after you have a certain amount. Okay? So the key for us is to get started and don't get frustrated in the early years and know that it's going to get easier. Okay? Obviously, if you want to speed up the process, you can contribute more money. If you're doing, this assumption is $10,000 a year. If you want to put in more than 10,000, then that will speed up the process. The assumption here is that also you're getting 7% return. If you can get a higher rate of return, that could also speed up the process. And once it is going, just know that it's going to get easier. So if you can keep that strong mindset, if you can remember that this is the hardest it's ever going to be, it's going to get easier. I think that can keep a lot of us in the game and keep us motivated, knowing that better days are ahead. MD Investor Guys with another video to increase our financial IQ so we can teach our children and break the cycle of generational poverty. I would appreciate a subscription on YouTube. MD Investor out.